Hello guys, my name is Nash. Welcome to Thursday Tales of Terror. TDT. Today we'll be talking about how the cold case of Felicia Teo was solved. This is probably one of those cases that I followed really closely. Felicia Teo was a 19-year-old Chinese Singaporean who went missing on 30th of June 2007. Felicia's case was one of Singapore's high-profile missing person cases due to extensive public appeals and searches for her. Felicia was someone who was always on her phone and disliked being alone, so it was very bizarre as to why she would suddenly go uncontactable and just disappear. However, 13 years later, there was a breakthrough in the investigation and her disappearance was reclassified as murder. The suspects were friends of hers, although one of them has yet to get caught by the authorities. What really happened to Felicia Teo? Let's find out. Felicia Teo was born in 1988 in Singapore and she was 19 years old when she went missing. Standing at 1.69 meters tall, she was slim and was able to converse fluently in Malay. She was the eldest of two children in her family and has a younger brother. She attended Monk's Hill Secondary School and after graduating, she was pursuing a diploma in fine arts at LaSalle College of the Arts. She was actually in her final year but she couldn't complete it because she went missing. She was also working part-time at a bar called Bungee Bar and the Louvre as a bartender. She loved to dress up and would put on eyeliner most of the time. Her parents didn't restrict her and gave her freedom as they trust her a lot. But Felicia would always make it a point to give her parents a call whenever she decides to spend the night out. Felicia was known to be very sociable. She loved to mingle and she had plenty of friends. She was always in touch with her friends day and night, whether it was over the phone or on the internet. Colleagues of hers would describe her as a fun girl and she was a very responsible worker. She would always inform them beforehand if she can't make it for work. After Felicia received her salary, she took her mother out shopping and bought two matching bags in different colors, one for her mother and one for herself. So as you can see, she was a very sweet and sensible girl. Felicia also had plans for the future. She was really looking forward to a possible internship at a leading advertising firm. On 29 June 2007 at about 6 p.m, Felicia left her home in Bras Basah and went out for a party at LaSalle with her friends. This was the last time her parents saw her. Friends who met her at the party said that Felicia was her usual social self that night. Felicia's parents also stated that Felicia was cheerful in the days leading up to her disappearance, so there really wasn't anything unusual. Felicia earlier also told her parents that she would be attending the wedding of one of her best friends the next day, whose name was Siti. However, the next day came and Felicia did not show up at the wedding. One of Felicia's friends, Anna, was confused when she didn't turn up because they had planned to coordinate their outfits for Siti's wedding. Felicia continued to remain uncontactable and didn't even show up for work, which was very unlikely of her. At this point, Felicia's family was very anxious and her friends were getting concerned. How can no one know her whereabouts when she was someone who always made herself contactable? On the 3rd of July 2007, Felicia's mother decided to make a police report and her case was classified as a missing persons case. After she attended her school party, she went to a friend's HDB flat at Marine Terrace. Felicia had apparently told Siti about this and this would be their last conversation with each other. Felicia told Siti that she was heading out to meet some friends for a party at Marine Parade, but she will definitely attend her wedding as planned. And this conversation also aligned with the CCTV footage retrieved from the town council that showed Felicia entering the lift and taking it up to the 10th floor with two men. And that was the last time she was seen on camera. Felicia's mother was aware that Felicia had a friend who lived in Marine Terrace, but she did not know who those two men were. Investigation and sources revealed that they were Felicia's friends and they told the police that Felicia was receiving and sending many text messages that night. When they complained about her jarring ringtone, she left in a huff carrying a cream-colored bag containing her Apple laptop and a digital camera. The CCTV footage never did capture her departure, but her mother believed that her daughter could have taken the stairs after leaving the 10th floor unit. There is also no other way to leave the building. CCTV footage around the vicinity of the unit were being reviewed but nothing incriminating was found. According to sources, Felicia was last seen just after 2 a.m. leaving the flat. Felicia's family subsequently retrieved her phone records from Singtel. The last text message was sent at 2:37 a.m. to a male friend whose identity was not known from her phone, which meant that she sent this text after she left the flat. But the contents of the message is not known, neither can it be confirmed that Felicia sent it. Police interviewed several people but had no leads. While the police were appealing for information from the public, Felicia's parents met investigators from the Tanglin police station for an update. They were told their daughter last withdrew $30 from an ATM near the family flat on June 29, 2007. People who knew Felicia were very confident that Felicia did not run away. It just didn't make any sense at all. Where could she go with just $30? Also, other than her laptop and digital camera, she didn't have clothes or other necessities in her bag. It was later revealed that Felicia had actually bought herself a $180 ticket to watch British band The Cure perform in Singapore on the 1st of August 2007. And Felicia was someone who was very loyal to her friends, so how could she have also missed her best friend's wedding? Her mother was so worried that she went to the building where Felicia was last seen to ask around, but there was no news at all. Felicia's family and friends continued to search for her on their own. They also went to Felicia's favourite hangouts including Marine Parade, Clarke Quay and East Coast. Their search has also took them to places like Woodlands, Yishun and Geylang. Her parents were also looking into the possibility of Felicia getting abducted and taken to Johor Bahru. So they went to Johor Bahru and spent a day there distributing posters to the local residents, seeking their help to search for her daughter. Almost 200 people from her white circle scoured the island, distributing and pasting thousands of flyers in a bid to locate her. Some of Felicia's friends even set up a blog and kind-hearted strangers chipped in to search for the missing girl. Local band West Grand Boulevard also helped by posting a video asking for people to keep a lookout. Police began the investigation by searching the place that she was last seen at, which was at Block 19 Marine Terrace on the 10th floor. That unit's owner was someone by the name of Mr. Lin. At the time of the incident, he wasn't staying there because he had been renting out this unit to someone else, and that person was Ahmad Daniel Muhammad Rafai. At that time, Daniel was 22 years old and was studying in the same school as Felicia. Felicia and Daniel got to know each other through a mutual friend by the name of Rajil Putra Setia Sukmarajana. As mentioned earlier, Felicia was last seen entering the lift and taking it up to the 10th floor with two men. Although Felicia's mother did not find them familiar at all, police were still able to identify them, and they were Daniel and Rajil. According to Ahmad Daniel and Rajil, they complained about Felicia's jarring ringtone as she was sending and receiving many text messages that night, and because of that, Felicia just left in a huff. Instead of taking the lift, she took the stairs down, and that was about 2 a.m. What's perplexing to me was, why didn't the two men who were her friends try to stop her from leaving because it was so late? They could have at least called a taxi for her to make sure she got home safely. And why take the stairs when there's the lift? This is on the 10th floor. Even though their statements were a little weird, at the point of time, police were unable to find any incriminating facts linking the two men to her disappearance, and thus considered them as witnesses. A month passed and there were no new leads, and at this point, it was really difficult to trace Felicia. As you all may know, it's rare for people to go missing for more than a day, especially in Singapore. And as time goes on, the chances of them returning home safe get slimmer. The first 72 hours are very, very crucial. But during the course of Felicia's disappearance, her family and friends tried really hard to find her. One of Felicia's friends who declined to be named told the Straits Times that family and friends took money out of their own pockets to pay Singtel to obtain the records and pass this to the police. The same friend also mentioned that the CCTV footage was retrieved a month later, only after they prompted the police. He was very frustrated with the lack of progress in investigation. Many of her other friends refused to give up. They continued to keep tabs on her social media platforms and search for her whereabouts. After slightly over a year of searching, Felicia's parents encouraged her friends to move on with life, but they themselves have never given up hope. Many months passed and the family also stayed at their current flat in hopes that Felicia might just come back one day. They didn't even cut off her mobile line contract and continued to renew it. They would also often go to the police station to get updates. Felicia's mother even bought a purple cap for Felicia and said that it was her favourite colour and she will wait for her to come back. As both of her parents were devout Buddhists, the only thing they can do is to pray for her safe return. In 2011, 4 years after her disappearance, Felicia's mother said to a newspaper that she kept telling herself that her daughter was still alive, married, and living in another country. In July 2020, 13 years after Felicia went missing, there was a breakthrough in the case. According to the Singapore Police Force, the police regularly review unsolved missing person reports to check for new leads. During the regular review of this case, interviews with Felicia's family and other witnesses were conducted along with checks on activities involving Felicia's possible movements, including her bank accounts, emails, social media accounts, and travel records. However, no new leads were revealed. The most recent review was initiated in July 2020 and the case was referred to the Criminal Investigation Department, CID. This is a part of a process where selected cases which have been outstanding for a protracted period of time are surfaced to CID for fresh review. But there were also other things that were going on behind the scenes that I feel people should know. If you guys watch my earlier Singapore crime videos, in some of them I mentioned Crime Library Singapore. They have contributed a lot in many areas and one of them is to promote crime awareness. They will constantly bring up cold cases to appeal for more information. They did that for Felicia's case by sharing her story and appealing for more information on Facebook. They managed to garner quite a bit of attention for the case again. Then on the 15th of November, one of the Chinese newspaper Lianhe Wanbao published Felicia's story and the case was brought back to the public eye. Now when CID took over the case, they uncovered new leads while tracing the properties which were believed to be in Felicia's possession when she was reported missing. CID managed to link one of the properties to the 35-year-old suspect Ahmad Daniel. Neighbours reported that around November 2020, they saw plainclothes officers entering the Marine Terrace unit to do a search. After about an hour, they left. New leads were uncovered when they found Felicia's bag, which was believed to be in Felicia's possession when she was reported missing. With this in hand, they managed to link it to Ahmad Daniel. Do note that Ahmad Daniel is no longer residing in that flat, so it's not very clear how and where the bag was found. The case was reclassified as murder and on 15 December 2020, the police arrested Ahmad Daniel. It was alleged that between 1:39 a.m. and 7:20 a.m. of 30th June 2007, Ahmad Daniel and his Indonesian friend Rajil had killed Felicia inside their flat and disposed of her body by unknown means. The other suspect, 32-year-old Rajil, is not in Singapore. His LinkedIn account and other social media pages were deactivated soon after news of Ahmad Daniel's arrest was published. Ahmad Daniel was charged in court on December 17, appearing via video link. He was wearing black rimmed glasses, looking tired and haggard, but he still has his signature shoulder-length hair. He remained expressionless when the charge sheet was being read out to him. After he was charged, Ahmad Daniel was held at the Tanglin and Central Police Divisions until the 20th of December due to sick leave, after which he was remanded at Central Police Station. He was scheduled to return to court on 24th December. If found guilty of murder, under the laws of Singapore, Ahmad Daniel would face the death penalty. Ahmad Daniel, who goes by the alias Daniel Anamico on his social media account, studied for a diploma in communication design and advertising at LaSalle. As mentioned earlier, he was introduced to Felicia by Rajil and they all became friends. He also worked as a creative manager at gaming firm Razer until 2020. I remember when news of his murder charge was released to the public, everyone was pissed off. People started digging into his personal information like his family background and they found stuff about him. He was in some photography competition called The Big Shot and he's happily married with cats. Some of the posts relating to him on Facebook were pushed up and you can see some really angry comments from the public. His sister had to deactivate her social media accounts for a while. I'm not going to talk about his family background because I believe they have had enough harassment and in all honesty they're not a part of any of this. Rajil on the other hand was an Indonesian who came to Singapore to study. He studied at LaSalle from 2006 to 2011 and he graduated with an honours degree in video art. He worked in many filmmaking jobs based in Jakarta, Indonesia and was last known to be employed as a director's assistant at the time of Ahmad Daniel's capture. The case was adjourned to 31st December 2020 and he was represented by Shashi Nadan and his team. They were hired by his family. He was further remanded for 1 more week due to an unspecified health condition. After that, he was ordered to undergo a 3-week psychiatric assessment while in remand on 7 January 2021. On 28 January 2021, Ahmad's final psychiatric report was completed and would be used as evidence to assess his mental state at the time of the offence. Access to the report was restricted due to ongoing investigations. Ahmad Daniel remained remanded in prison to await trial as murder suspects are denied bail. I remember at this point of time I kept refreshing the news waiting for updates, and it was so long because he kept getting remanded. So his case was adjourned to March 2022, and on 24th May 2022, Ahmad Daniel's remand order was extended and still in effect while police continue to locate Rajil, who remained at large outside Singapore. On 27 June 2022, Ahmad Daniel was granted a discharge not amounting to an acquittal for Felicia's alleged murder, but it can potentially be revived if the prosecution found additional evidence against him. Ahmad Daniel's lawyer tried to convince the district court judge to grant him a full acquittal, as giving him a mere discharge without acquitting him would potentially lead to him being haunted psychologically, with the prospect of the murder charge hanging over his head indefinitely. His lawyer also emphasized on the sufferings of Ahmad Daniel's wife, who left his flat due to harassment by members of the public, and his family members endured due to their connection to Ahmad Daniel and the public's condemnation of his actions. The court rejected it. Despite his discharge, Ahmad Daniel will be facing 6 fresh charges of a less serious nature over Felicia's death. He's accused of committing all these offences in common intention with Rajil. 2 counts of fabricating false evidence by making calls to Felicia's phone, leaving her voicemails and messaging her on social media to create a false impression that they believe she was still alive when they knew she was dead. By placing Felicia's phone in the vicinity of East Coast Park to support lies given to the police that she had gone there. 1 count of dishonest misappropriation of property possessed by a deceased person at the time of their death by taking Felicia's mobile phone, MacBook Pro laptop, and Olympus DSLR camera with 2 lenses. 1 count of omitting to give information about Felicia's death on June 30th, 2007, when he was legally bound to report a sudden or unnatural death to the police. 1 count of giving false information to 2 police officers that they did not know what happened to Felicia after she left a party, intending for the police not to arrest them. 1 count of disposing of Felicia's corpse. Ahmad Daniel, who was offered a $20,000 bail, was scheduled to return to court on 6 July 2022 for trial, after he expressed his intention to plead guilty to the charges. As for Rajil, he will be facing the same charges as mentioned in addition to the murder charge on his charge sheet. The Singapore Police Force also contacted the Indonesian authorities, who agreed to help their Singaporean counterparts to trace the whereabouts of Rajil, who remain missing even up till today. Although the court documents did not reveal who exactly killed Felicia or her cause of death, it was revealed that Ahmad Daniel and Rajil disposed of Felicia's corpse at the vicinity of Punggol Track 24 after the alleged killing. The distance between Marine Terrace, where Felicia was last seen, and Punggol Track 24 is geographically about 13 kilometers. The search efforts resulted in the discovery of a skull fragment at where Ahmad Daniel and Rajil abandoned the corpse. Currently, the skull fragments were sent by the prosecution to the United States for mitochondrial testing, which could involve DNA-related tests to identify if the skull fragments belong to Felicia. On 6 July 2022, Ahmad Daniel returned to court and was set to plead guilty to his charges. However, the guilty plea was adjourned and a pre-trial hearing would be conducted on 5th August 2022 due to the need for the prosecution and defense to have discussions and to resolve several issues between them. Nathan also filed an appeal for Ahmad Daniel's murder charge to be fully withdrawn with a discharge amounting to an acquittal. If an acquittal was granted, it meant that Ahmad Daniel would not be charged again for the same offence. Given that Ahmad Daniel had hidden his criminal behaviour with lies and pretenses for 13 years prior to his capture, the court felt it would not be safe to grant an acquittal at this current stage, even if Ahmad Daniel was genuinely not the killer. Ahmad Daniel was scheduled to return to court to submit his guilty plea on 14 October 2022. Upon the news of Ahmad Daniel's arrest, Felicia's family declined to speak to the media, citing their need for privacy. Several of Felicia's friends shared past memories of her and spoke of theirs and others' past hopes that she might be alive. I can't imagine how painful it must be to have this devastating news delivered to them after more than a decade. It's beyond me to comprehend how her But 2 friends were still able to continue living their lives, doing well in their careers, and here we have Felicia's family and friends in distraught, waiting years after years for her news. If you're from Indonesia and you're watching this video, and if you happen to see Rajil anywhere, please alert the authorities immediately. He should be brought to justice. Also, if there are any new updates, I will let you guys know. Thank you for watching my video. As always, stay safe, and I hope to see you guys again next Thursday.